This is a quick guide for Shadow Priest in PvP, The War Within. Starting off then, let's actually have a look at what we're getting in our set bonus. The duration of Devouring Plague is increased, and Devouring Plague increases your damage done for 10 seconds, and multiple applications can overlap. Now, if you don't know what Devouring Plague is, basically we're going to be using a lot of our abilities to generate a resource on our class par here called Insanity. And then once we build up enough Insanity, we can spend 45 Insanity to use Devouring Plague, a massive burst-like dot that we can put on our enemies. So we're going to start off by using Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch, 2 dots or damage over time spells that are going to be ticking away damage on our enemy. We then have Mind Spike, which will generate some Insanity, and then we've got Mind Blast. Sometimes you'll proc an instant cast of Mind Blast, which you should use when you get it. This is going to do a fair amount of damage and generate Insanity as well. Your Shadow Fiend, on a 3-minute cooldown, will summon a fiend to attack your target, and basically like putting a Rottweiler on them for a few seconds. And then we have Shadow Crash. This is good if you have multiple enemies in one space. It can be targeted on an area, but if you just click your target, it is going to do it where that target is. Halo is going to be amazing. This is actually going to put a ring in and out. And because of the hero talents we're using, which is Archon, which I'll go through shortly, means that the halo is going to kind of go in and out like a boomerang and make it very difficult for your enemies to actually avoid it. Lastly, we have Void Torrent, generating 24 Insanity over the duration of the channel. And finally, Devouring Plague. This is where we start our kind of burst portion of the rotation, afflicting the target of a disease, causing massive shadow damage and an additional amount over 7 seconds. And it's also going to heal you for 30% of that. Then what we can do is use Void Eruption, releasing an explosive blast of pure void energy, activating something called Void Form, dealing shadow damage to all enemies within 10 yards of the target, and then it's going to be replaced by Void Bolt. Casting Devouring Plague increases the duration of Void Form, which again is this one, which we're going to be using to keep up on our enemy. So then you get basically Void Bolt, which just shoots a bolt of energy at them, and also extends the durations of your Vampiric and Shadow Word Pain dots on the target. If they are under 20% health, I would then recommend using Shadow Word Death, which basically does a big blast of damage. If it doesn't kill them, it will backlash or backfire some damage onto you. If you use it on them under 20% health, it will deal 250% more damage. It's a great executability. In that, we can also use something like Power Infusion to increase our haste by 20% to get even more burst out of there. But what I would recommend is using it on an ally because of the twins of the Sun Priestess talent. Power Infusion also grants you 100% of its effect when you use it on an ally, meaning the ally and you will also both get the full effect. Now, looking at the utilities we have Psychic Scream, disorienting them and making them flee for 8 seconds. Fade, which reduces at how far they can attack you, so a ranged player will have to come closer. There's also 2 other things of this. Translucent Image. Fade reduces damage you take by 10%, meaning it's actually a slight defensive as well. And I would also recommend using the Phase Shift PvP talent, where you step into the shadows when you cast Fade, avoiding all attacks and spells for a second. We've got Dispel Magic, where you can dispel magic on the beneficial magic effects on your enemy target. Desperate Prayer is a instant heal on yourself. Dispel, Greater Dispel, or Master Spell even, is going to dispel both beneficial effects on your enemies and negative effects on your allies in a huge area, and is a massive, massive boon to you and your party. If you're in a bit of a sticky situation, we can use Dispersion. As you can see, it speeds you up. It's also going to heal you massively over the duration, while simultaneously massively reducing damage you take. And you can use it while stunned, feared, or silenced. So it's a great get-out-of-jail-free card. We've spoken about Power Infusion. We've got Powered Shield, which you can use on yourself or an ally to give them a short absorption shield. Vampiric Embrace is also great for using alongside your allies. Fills you with the embrace of shadow energy, causing you to heal a nearby ally for half of any single target shadow damage you deal. Silence is an interrupt and silence, and Psychic Horror will terrify the target in place, stunning them. And that is the main way we're going to be playing it. For the other 2 PvP talents, I like to go with Mind Trauma, where we can steal haste from our enemies, basically just using the attacks we're already using. And for the 3rd talent, I would like to go for mind games. This is amazing. Any damage they deal will actually heal their target, and any healing they try and do will damage them, meaning they can actually, themselves accidentally when you use this on them. You can get them down into the execute phase of your burst of Devouring Plague and Shadow Word Death and Void Eruption, etc., while keeping up your dots and using things like Mind Blast and maybe your Shadow Fiend. And then they're like, oh no, I'm going to heal. You put Mind Games on, and then they actually damage themselves and do the job for you, which I love. It's one of my favourite PvP abilities in the War Within. For the hero talents, we are going with Archon. Casting Halo causes you to create a halo around you at 100% effectiveness every 5 seconds for 10 seconds, and additionally, the radius of halo is increased. We then have things like Incessant Screams, where Psychic Scream creates an image of you at your location, and that will also let out a Psychic Scream. Your Power Infusion grants additional haste, etc. The rest of them really revolve around your Halo. Halo now centers around you and returns to you after it reaches its maximum distance, healing allies and damaging enemies it passes through. So it's not just damage, it's actually going to heal your allies as well. Now, hopefully you did like this quick guide. If it was a bit too quick for you, check out the pinned comment in the description, the pinned comment in the comments even, but also there's a playlist I'll put in the description for my other channel where I've done full comprehensive PvP and PvE guides for you in the War Within. And if you'd like other quick guides, you can check out this playlist here.